I went to the mall and bought myself a dress. I call this retail therapy. It was black and white, but it looked gray from far away because of the close-knit Fendi F's all over it, coming together like yin-yangs. It had a slit up one side all the way to the hip and exposed cleavage almost to the belly button, tied at the waist with a sash. The deep V-neck had revers, or whatever they're called, with the print reversed, a black field with white F's forming tikes. And I bought a brand new pair of heels to go with it, black with straps like the rib cage across the top. This was the kind of outfit you wore with nothing underneath, and I didn't. I met Cedric 10 months ago, or was it 12? I was facing charges of drunken disorderly, possession, and battery on a Leo, 3 counts, and was offered 15 years. Offered. That's what they were offering me, and I made what they call a counter-offer. I offered them the guy I'd gotten the dope from. My charge was reduced to criminal mischief. I did 6 months paper and went into detox, and that was the start of a beautiful friendship. As soon as I was street legal, I began my glamorous double life as a ruthless, treacherous, scandalous bitch. I sold my soul and never looked back. Now, as I came out of the mall toward my sweet 1970 Mach 1 with the racing stripes, I stopped, eyes going wide behind my Audrey Hepburn oversized shades. Tom and Cedric leaned against my car, with their arms folded and feet crossed as if they were cool or something. "Howdy, Miss Scarlett." What a schmuck. "Do I know you?" I asked. They were wearing their shields on their belts. "You better be glad you do, young lady." "Come on, Simone," Tom said. "We won't bite." I looked around nervously, saw no one else in the parking lot, and advanced, my keys out. I got to the rear of the car, opened the trunk, and spoke to them under cover of the lid, putting my bags inside and pretending to arrange them. "Anything you want to tell us about that bar you work at?" "Yeah, tomorrow's ladies' night." "You like your new boss? What's his name? Haggerty?" "He's okay." Jesus, I was terrified. "We're going to bust that place wide open with or without you," Cedric said, and I relaxed. That meant he could only do it with me. He had nothing but hearsay, which isn't worth the paper it's printed on. "There's nothing to bust that I know about." I slammed the trunk lid. You want us to tell you about your boss? I guarantee you don't know his story." Tom was trying to look stern and serious. "I don't know your story either. Look, I've gone straight. I got a good job and I'm out of that old life for good. If you think anything's going on under the table at Layla, somebody's lying to you." "You're right. Somebody is." "Last chance, Simone," Cedric said quietly. "Are you in or out?" I looked at him for a long time, trying to stare him down before realizing we were both wearing shades and it wouldn't happen. "I'm out." They sighed and rocked themselves forward off of my car, stepping away to let me pass. Unlocking and opening my door, I let it swing into the side of the car parked next to me. Cedric snorted and shook his head, frowning. Tom smiled. I got in and rolled down my window, deliberately ignoring my seatbelt. Cedric stepped forward and leaned in, trying again. "Haggerty's a killer, Simone, a cold-blooded murderer. The blast of Rage Against the Machine on my stereo cut him off as I started the car, startling him. I pointed to my ear and mouthed the words, 'I can't hear you.' He looked tired. He looked very tired and resigned as he backed away from my window. I drove away and didn't look back once. When I got on the interstate, headed back toward my apartment, a convertible with 2 surfer guys pulled up alongside me. They grinned at me and arched their eyebrows. I sped up a little. They sped up too. I turned the stereo off. Getting a hair tie off of the gear shift, I pulled my hair back so the wind wouldn't whip it in my face, and with a little smile I turned to the 2 surfers, blew them a kiss, and punched it. My car leaped forward with a roar, the startled bronze faces vanishing from my window. Surging past them and wrenching the wheel, I cut them off, watching them swerve in the rear view. While they were distracted, I sped up to hide in front of a cluster of cars ahead of us. There weren't many cars up ahead, only a handful sporadically Christmas treeing the lanes, disappearing one by one over a hill in the distance. I had enough time to light a cigarette before the convertible found me, the 2 guys trying to shout something at me, their words lost in the wind between us. I mashed the pedal and felt a rush of excitement as the lines in the road became dots beneath me. They followed, right on my tail. My ponytail whipped around in the roaring wind and stung my cheeks, dancing madly, but I bared my teeth and ignored it. With my cigarette in one hand, the other clamped white-knuckled on the steering wheel, I came swiftly up on the first of the cars ahead, scaring the shit out of its driver. I jerked the wheel and jumped into another lane along its left, flying past it, coming right up on the ass of the blue sedan with the blue station wagon right next to it. With another jerk, I cut across the highway in front of the first car, narrowly missing it with my tail and the station wagon with my front end. My heart was in my throat, pounding against the backs of my eyes almost, choking me. The car behind me slammed on its brakes with a smoking screech, and I juked sideways, almost skidding off the pavement into the grassy swale. The convertible was still there. I scowled at it in the rear view, then gasped in sudden horror as the trunk of a Volvo loomed in front of me. I cut the wheel sharply again, missing the car by a coat of paint, shooting in front of the wagon and the sedan now, overcorrecting and sliding back toward the Volvo. The poofy-haired woman in the Volvo gaped wide-eyed at me in a flashing instant before she swerved to get away from me and sideswiped a parked police car, red and yellow lights filling that window and my brain in a sudden moment of dreamlike quiet before the loud, crashing, glass-shattering impact. Where the hell did that come from? The cop with his Smokey the Bear hat stood beside a white compact, writing up a ticket, and he screamed, "Shit!" just before the oncoming fender glanced his hip and sent him flying, the ticket paper, white with the pink and yellow carbons, flying out of his hand along with somebody else's driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, swirling in the rocky airwake like confetti. I looked straight ahead, weaved lightning quick between the 5 cars that flashed past me in blurs of color, surged up a small hill, and launched myself into the air. I may have only come a foot or so off the road, but the jumping stomached weightlessness felt like, "Houston, we have liftoff," and I was jolted violently when my tires touched down on the pavement on the other side. Behind me, closer than they appeared in the mirrors, were plumes of roiling black smoke from a 4-car pileup. The lane was clear ahead of me. I stomped the pedal to the floor and was gone.